I want to share here. So what we discussed in the last sessions, did you all remember till where we have discussed? If you remember, put it in chat box. Is my screen visible? Let me run the code once again. Everyone observe carefully. Now let me know, is it visible now? The emulator is opening. Is that visible? Yeah, you can see that. Let me minimize this. I will show both. When it's opening, you can see in the, when we are running the app, you can see the progress of the AVD in the logcat or in the run. So if everything is successful, now let's check what we have done. What we have done, we have created this one. Okay, that is, we have created two widgets here to enter the fields, full name and password. And we have created a button login. And one more button is also created, which is called new registration. That means if anyone comes to this page for the first time, that means not registered for the first time, then they can click on this button and they will go to another activity, and in the customer point of view it's another page, and they will register themselves by giving the name and password so that they can come back and log in here. Now let's give the basic login details here. Now we have given the username as admin and the password is 1234, I think. Okay, let's check that. I'll do login and it should log into the home page. Okay, we'll see where it will land. Yeah, we have landed to welcome to home page. Okay, this is absolutely fine. Now, for example, if I give wrong username and wrong password, this number of attempts remaining must decrement. We'll check that. Okay, I'm giving the wrong password for time being. Okay. Incorrect details. Yes. So number of attempts remaining 4. If I click one more time, incorrect details, number of attempts remaining 3. Okay, this is also working fine. Now let's think that we are new to the app and we want to go to the registration. When I click here, it will go for registration button, and we need to give the email ID and password, something like that. So Industech Solutions, let's give the name and the password. I want 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Anything you can give. And you have to understand, when I click register, it has to register, but we have not created any code. If you observe here, let's go to registration activity. Now this is a registration activity. See, registration activity page. Okay, registration activity.java, and here we have not written any code here. Okay, when nothing is there here, it will not go forward. So that's why we need to write the code now. Okay, we'll see how do we do that. Now in the main activity, I need to do some changes. Yeah, I think in the earlier class I started explaining about, now let me show you the Firebase also. Now in this Firebase, we have created the authentication like this. Email and password, email or password is enabled, and users, if you see, no users are there here. That means we have integrated our application. Now if you did not remember how we have integrated the Firebase .com to our app, kindly watch the recorded video. Okay, in the one of the video, in the final video, I think, which we have uploaded in the YouTube, and you all have the link to access that YouTube channel, and go there and watch the complete video in the fast forward. Okay, so that you can complete the video in easily. Okay, so in that video you can understand that how we have integrated the Firebase to our desired application. So first of all, watch that, because if you did not understand how we have done that integration part, you cannot understand why we are getting user details, database, everything. You cannot understand. So if you did not attend that session, or you forgot how we have done the integration part, kindly watch that particular thing. Okay, so Let me see this, how we have done. We'll go for coding here. If you see here, everything, widgets importing, everything is done. Now here I have declared the Firebase, Firebase authentication, and the variable is Firebase auth, and where we have used that particular variable. If you see here, Firebase user equal to Firebase auth dot get user, get current user. That means here, uh, is valid. That means validating. We are validating. When we are validating input name and input password, that means we are passing these two variables to a function, okay, to a method called validate method, and the return value we are storing in is valid, okay, and we are decrementing the counter here. That means we are showing how many number of attempts are remained. Now, once you get these valid, that current instance will be there in the Firebase object, Firebase auth object, and the Firebase user space user. We are creating an object called user. User is getting the get current user. That means current user data is obtained in the object user. If user is not equal to null, that means that the perfectly we have taken the user value and finish the activity and start the activity. We have to go from main activity to home page activity. That means if the details are correct, then we are moving from main activity to home page activity. If E is valid, if not E is valid, that means E is valid is false. Not E is valid means false. Then we can say that that means E is valid and false means what? We are not getting any input values. That means nothing is entered by the user. Then in that case, it will become false. Then we will give it as incorrect details. That means validation is not done. In the method validation, it is not done. If the validation is failed, then incorrect details and counter will be decremented and will show the decremented value, how much the remaining number of attempts are there. If counter becomes 0, we are disabling the button. Login button is disabled. So once again, you have to close the app and restart the app to enable the login button. Okay. Else, if validation is successful, then we are making login successful, and we are moving from main activity to homepage activity and start the intent. That's it. So in the validation, we are checking whether it is equal to username and user password. Return the true value if it is equal to username and user password. It means username and user password. You can see what we have done. Username is admin, user password is 1234. If admin and 1234 are given, then only it will return the true value. Otherwise, it will return false. If it returns false, that means the login is failed. So it will disable the login button. If it returns true, then it will go to else condition, then login is successful. Right. Now what you have to do? Now we need to integrate the Firebase. That means we no longer giving admin and password as the static one 1234. It's not like this. So that means we need to give the access to the users that they will give their own username and their own password, so that those details will be saved in the firebase.com, and whenever it is required, it will be retrieved from the database and it will give the access to the login. Okay, that's what you have to do now. Now, first of all, we'll go to registration activity. Even observe, we'll go to registration activity. Then we write some code here so that it will be taken into the, okay, that those details will be taken into Firebase. Whatever we are giving the values in the registration activity. Now we'll write some code here. We'll see how the registration activity is there. So the registration activity has a certain, already something is imported. Okay, so let's see what are already imported. Some app compact, okay, bundle. So everything is good. Now we need to write according to what are the widgets we have given. Okay, now we'll see. Here how many widgets are created. We have created email ID and password. Okay, so let's do this with the email ID and password only. Okay, Now here, let's declare something here. So private, and what we have given is edit text, edit text. So let's take some variables here. Those variables are, let's take user email, comma, user password. These are the edit text. Now take private, and let's take a button here. So the button widget, will take it as registration button. Okay, I'll give the name registration button. So these names are your choice. You can give any name, and whatever names you are giving as variable names, you have to use those names. Okay. So I have given the names. Now set content view. Here let's take Firebase auth. Did we import the Firebase here? Now let's import Firebase also here. Private. Okay. I'll take Firebase auth, and I'll give the name Firebase auth. Okay. Authentication, Firebase authentication. We have given the widget variable type is Firebase auth, and the variable name is Firebase auth with small f. F is small. You have to observe that. Okay. Let's use the Firebase auth equal to. We'll add Firebase auth dot get instance. Okay, it's automatically giving the suggestion to use our get instance, right? So here let's write when we click on the registration button dot, what you have to do, we need to write set on click listener. Yeah, and we have to write a new and view dot, yeah, it will generate me automatically. Yes, we have done that. Once this is done, when it is clicked, that means when the registration button is clicked, what should happen inside? That means we need to go for validation, correct? So the validation is, I'll write the validation if, I'll call a form method validate. Okay, we have not written the method till now, but I'm writing to call a method called validate. Okay, so validate I'm calling because it will show you the error for time being, because we have not written any method called validate. In that case, definitely it will show up an error. Okay, so open and close the function. Okay, we are calling a method that is called validate, right? So let's write the string. I'll use the variable type string, user email, underscore email. I'll use the variable user underscore email, which is not used till now. Okay, to avoid confusion, let me use small email. User email equal to user email, user email dot get text. I'll use auto suggestion get text dot, I'll convert to string. Okay, I'll use function called dot trim. That means if any extra spaces are there, those will be trimmed. That means sometimes whenever we are entering users, let's say your username is Industech. When you write Industech, in the stack you'll write the spelling, and at the end you may use space. That means spaces will not appear any character. It's no, space is also treated as a character. If those kind of spaces are there, then definitely when you are clicking on the registration, it will not allow you. That means because it will treat the space as an extra character which you have given the wrong user ID or wrong password, it will not give you the access. So in that case, how do we avoid? If you go for trim function, trim means trimming the extra spaces. That's it. Okay, now let's do the same way for password also. String user underscore password equal to user password dot. Okay, so we have given user email ID, user password. We are taking dot get text. Take that text as an input and convert to string, and this one also trim the function. Okay, user trim function. Okay, we have done both. Now we need to access the database. That means whatever the fields that are entered in the user email and user password, we are storing in another variables called user email and user password. These are the two strings. Now from these two variables which are storing the actual input fields, input username and input password, we need to save that data into firebase.com. Okay, so how do we upload that value in the Firebase? Now we are using the Firebase authentication. Firebase dot. So now just observe how I'm writing this particular lengthy line of the code, which is very important you people to understand. How do we upload the data into the firebase.com? So this particular line is very, very important. Let me show like this. So I have written Firebase auth dot. So just observe how I'm using the auto suggestions also. Okay, let's take create. There's an option called create user with email and password. Create the user with the email and password. Don't type entire create user everything. Don't type this one. You already have the auto suggestion. Use this auto suggestion. Okay, just click enter. So it will take entire text. So inside this user with email and password, what you have to write is take the variables user underscore email, which you have taken the input values here. See here, this is user underscore email we are using here. Take the user email ID, okay, and comma user password. Okay, take those values and dot. Now I'm adding add on cancelled. I have to write add on complete listener. This is very important. Add on complete listener. Choose this one. Add on complete listener. It will give you the text, complete text directly in the auto suggestion. Create a new and write down on complete listener author. The first auto suggestion on complete listener authentication result. Okay, this one you have to choose. Click enter. Okay, it will give you the complete code. At the rate override, all these things you need not type in the code. Okay, so it's given directly. Now what you have to do here, inside this you need to write actual code. Okay, so if it is validated, then only we need to upload the value into the Firebase. It's not that whatever values that are present in user email and user password will be entered in directly to the firebase.com. Okay, we need to go for whether it is validated or not. Okay, that's what you have to check here. If it is validated, then only will allow. So what is validate function here? So we write the validate function now. So we write validate function here. The function is, first we write validate function, then we'll understand further how the details are uploaded into the firebase.com. Okay, let me write validate function. Private. So the validate function will return the value. Return type is boolean because it will return true or false. Boolean validate. Okay, boolean validate. open and close the method validate. Yeah. So here boolean, let's take some string result equal to, I am assigning the default value as false. Okay. Now let's take some values. Email I'll take. Email equal to user email dot get text dot to string. Okay. So email ID is taken. We're taking email here, and let's take password also. Password equal to user password dot get text. Yeah, we are getting errors with the email and password because these are not declared. Okay, that's why we are getting the errors, as we are not declared what is in email, what is password, those things. Okay, that we can do now. So how do we do that? We'll go to top here where we have declared some of the variables. So here I can declare as private let me declare directly because I want to be global. String I'll take email comma password. Okay, let's declare this as email and password, which are string variables. Now these errors are not there, so we have done both. Email ID and password are declared here. Okay, so that's what you have done here. So here, once these are declared, let me write a condition. If in the if, I'm writing a condition here. If condition is what are the names that I'm taking here? I'm taking the variables email dot is empty. If email is empty, or password is empty. If either of these two are empty, okay, then enter into the if loop. So in the if loop, I'm giving a toast message here. Toast dot make text. It's already given. Toast make text. So what a toast message we have to give? From this activity, in this activity only, I have to enter the code that is please enter all details. This is the message I am giving, which means that I'm making I'm asking the user to enter all the details. That's what I'm doing. I think you all able to observe. Is it clear? So I'm asking the user to enter all the details. If that is the if condition. Because if condition is satisfied means what? Email is empty, password is empty. Either of these two, any of these two is satisfied, which means that user did not enter all the details. Else, what I have to do? I have to write else. Else result is, that means user entered something. So result equal to true. I am assigning the value true. Okay. So here I have to write return type. Return result. Yeah. Return result. So here in this case, we are not using anything like that is sending the verification emails. Okay, whether if user forgets password, forget password code, all these things we are not doing. Okay, for time being, we are not doing all these things. Just understand that we are just trying to add user details into the firebase.com. That's it. Okay. So how do we do that? That's very important here. That's what you all have to understand. So here we have taken Firebase authentication, create user. Inside this, we have to write if task is successful. That means we are returning if this is the task. That means user entered some values. So if task is successful, if the task is successful, so I'll take it, auto suggestion is successful. If the task is successful, then that means that the user has entered the values correctly. Okay. So now time being we are not going for any verification or sign out like that. Okay. We just write a toast message. Toast. We have to write from registration activity dot this. In this activity, we need to write that successfully register like that. I'll write successful. This is a message I'm showing successfully registered. I'm showing this one to the user successfully registered. If the task is successful. Okay. Then right here. Then finish the task. Finish the task. Then start activity. Start activity. New intent. Intent of from register. If the registration is successful, what you have to do? From registration activity dot this to where we have to go. We need to go for main activity. If that means once registration is done, we need to go for login. So I will make the user to go to main activity dot class. Okay. We are allowing the user to go from registration page to login page. Okay. If the task is successful, this is start successful. If the task is not successful, that means else what should happen? Else what should happen is again I have to give the toast message. Okay, the toast message in the registration activity only. Here I need to write that registration failed. Okay, registration failed. That means task is not successful, registration is failed. Okay, we are showing the registration here. Okay, yeah. So we have done something here. Let's check. Let's execute the code and we'll see whether we are able to upload the data or not. That's what you have to see. If it is uploaded successfully, we have done perfectly. If otherwise, I'll check the errors. If any errors are there, we'll see that. We'll go for registration and new registration. Yeah, it's crashing means some logic error is there. The app is closing. Okay. Maybe unwanted code may be there. And now when it is crashing, you can see in the logcat where it's exactly happening, or you can see in the run. these error. Runtime fail exemption, unable to start activity. Okay. Let me check where exactly the error is. So we have done Firebase authentication, string email and password. Firebase auth, call to Firebase get instance, set on click listener. If validate, we are going for validate function. If it is validate, okay, giving the string data dot ring Firebase auth. If task is successful, Firebase Firebase or toast message that successfully registered. Finish the activity. Finish the toast message. Once that is done, start activity. New intent. Else, if the task is not successful, message. Okay. So here we are using private boolean validate function here. Okay, file validate open boolean result we are giving by default false. Email and password we are giving. If email is empty or password is empty, if either of this condition, give the toast message that please enter all the details. Else, if condition is what? Fields are entered, means take result as true and return the result. Okay, so return the result. Yeah. So launch is successful, but some problem is there in the registration activity button itself. When we click on the registration button, get instance registration activity. This is true. Okay, the main activity name I will do here. User email equal to ID. What is the ID we have given? I did not remember. Let me check. The ID is not given. Register email I have given ID. Register password I'll give. Button. Button this is given. Find view by ID. R dot ID dot register email for the email. Find view by ID. See here how we have done here. Find view by ID. This is what find view by ID. User email equal to find view by ID. Next, user password. User password equal to find view by id dot id dot register. Email is done. Register password we have to go. Yeah, register password. Next, we have to go for registration button. Find view by id dot dot bt and button register. I have given taken this one. Yeah, if this is taken, let me check. Let me run the app once again. Let's click on new registration. Yeah, we got this one. Let me write industech dot ittc at the rate gmail.com. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. I'll give the password. We'll click on register. Successfully registered. We have moved to login page. Now let me open firebase.com and let's refresh this. See here in the database we got industech.ittc at gmail.com provided September 5th, today's date September 5th, and user id, and we can have all the details here. Yeah, we can go for resetting the password. The user password can be done from our side. User will have the access of our application, but their details will be there in our database. So I can disable the account. If I found that the account is not genuine, I can disable. I can permanently delete the account also. Okay, now I got industech.ittc. Now let's take this user id and let's try to log in. But we have not written anything in the login page. Correct? That means the main activity, but it will not give you the access unless and until you write the code. Okay. Now, how many of you understood till here? Put it in chat box. How many of you understood how you got the how we uploaded the user details in the Firebase? We have directly uploaded into the Firebase. That's what I have done. Yeah, either you raise your hands or put it in chat box. How many of you understood how we are uploading the data into the Firebase? Now the further steps are like you not only upload user email and password, but also what else you can do is you can upload the full name, you can upload mobile number, and you can also go for for example, if I give a dummy email, okay, that means which is not available, then our application will take. But we need to go for email verification, which means that we send a link to the email that is provided by the user. Once that is sent, they need to click on that link and they have to verify that that is a correct email id. That's they have to do. For example, we take the mobile numbers in application. You see nowadays they take the mobile number and they will verify the mobile number using OTP. That can also be done. We give the mobile numbers and we'll verify that with the OTP. We'll do that one also. For example, if user forgets the password, then we need to give the option for forget password. When they forget the password, we need to give the access them to reset their password. That can be done. Okay, so we'll add on all these features into our application. Okay, very soon, within couple of days I'll do all these things. Okay, so for today what you learned is how do you upload data into the firebase.com, which is email id and password. Two simple entries are uploaded into Firebase. Okay, everyone raise your hands if you understood till here. Yeah, good, good. So what I want is we will provide the recording of this one also. I want you people to practice. Okay, when you go for when you come to industry, you have the systems or laptops. Take those things and to try to implement the registration activity. Then the assignment is this one only. You just practice. If you already have the laptop, your own laptop, try to create registration activity. Give the fields, widgets, names. Give your own customized names, and try to give the entries and see that it is uploaded into Firebase. And also configure your Firebase. Configure a Firebase project. Okay, everyone log into firebase.com, create a project, and just integrate that firebase.com into Android app that you are designing into your package. Then upload some data into your app and try to see whether that is reflected in the Firebase database or not. You need to see that one. Okay, this is the assignment for you. Take 2 to 3 days time this week and complete this project. Okay, so this is very important. Unless and until you did not understand, you cannot be called as an Android developer. So these are the very fundamentals. So everyone in interview also, they'll ask basic questions, very very fundamental questions, because if you are very much strong in foundation, then definitely they will accept. They will accept that you can learn anything in the future. That means in their training you can learn anything. Okay.